Hello everyone and welcome back to Echo, yet another of the series that's coming back, along with all of them. I don't know why... Oh, my phone blowing up all of a sudden, what the hell? Okay, so just so you know, because there seemed to be a little bit of confusion about this with the Ad Astra episode, there were between people saying they were glad to see it back, there were almost just as many people saying, well, what about all this other shit? And I'm like, you're never fucking satisfied, so here we go. I came up with a list on my phone of all the games that are coming back, and basically I put them in alphabetical order in 3 tiers. Good, that was 3. The first tier has 6 games in it. Those are the most popular series and the ones, more specifically, the ones I have the absolute most interest in coming back to, either because of time invested in them or because of just a personal interest, yada yada. The second tier is games that I have either invested less time in or are just less popular, so they will be returning once I have caught up to a suitable deal with the first tier. And then there's the third tier, which is once everything else is fucking done, I'll get back to that. Basically, since the first tier has 6 games in it, I'm basically going to run through all the updates in those first, before once I whittle them down to 3, because I feel like 3 concurrent series is good enough. So I'm pretty much just going to work on the top 3, just arbitrarily based on the alphabet, or whatever I feel like playing. But those first 3 that are going to get the focus once I run through the updates are Ad Astra, as you've seen, Echo, which you see now, and extracurricular activities, which will be probably the fucking juggernaut of things that are going to take forever to catch up on. So that's why it's in the first fucking block. Once I catch up with the updates on one of those games, the second half of the first tier, I guess you have 4 tiers, I guess. The second tier is Repeat, Tennis Ace, and the Hayseed Night. Fortunately, the Hayseed Night doesn't actually have any updates, and I think Repeat only has 1, so that should be actually pretty quick. And Tennis Ace is just there because of the alphabet. Again, if ever I feel like playing that over any of the games in the first 3, it's all on the same tier as far as I'm concerned, so it'll be fine if I play that as well. And then, of course, once the first tier is knocked down to 2, below 3, then the second tier games will come in. Those games being After Class, not as much time spent in it, Regal Tales, which doesn't have many updates to go around, Winds of Change, which has a lot of updates, but I feel like the way I've been approaching it has made it less interesting to me, so I'm less interested in it, but I still want to continue it because I've gotten an assurance from Clace himself that once you actually get into the meat of it, it'll be a little better. And then, of course, we'll start Sins in Paradise, which now that I'm recording instead of streaming, I don't have to use the barrier, and I can actually show what's going on, other than the nudity. But it's only there because, again, I haven't spent as much time with it. And then the absolute last tier, when it comes to visual novels, is you got Homecoming, Moranatsu Revisited, which I don't think has any updates right now, but I don't remember checking, unfortunately. But I want to get to that one in the last tier because, I just haven't... with that fucking plate on the floor.
It's his plate.
Yeah, but it's also fucking annoying. Because it's attached to Moranatsu, so I just don't want to... I'm not interested in bringing that one back immediately. Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people. I'm pretty much the only one on the whole channel that's interested in watching that. But, I am fucking the one doing it, so I want to play it. But I want to get through the rest of the stuff first. And then, of course, there's a last one that I will... what the fuck is this? Oh, okay. A last one, which will be a returning game that I'm only bringing back for the sake of finishing, not because I'm actually interested in it at all. I feel like entering in and finishing up the last part of Lagoon Lounge 3 only because now I don't feel like I have any obligation to be nice to it. So now I can just shit on it unabashedly, and I look forward to doing that. Also, so I can get all the people who are like, we'll bring back Lagoon Lounge 3, even though you blatantly don't like it. So I can shut those people up, as well as being able to just rag on a game that I don't like. So, yay. But without further ado, and with all of the pain and suffering going on behind me, say hi, Bri.
Hi.
Oh, God, okay.
Carrot. Give me the carrot.
Let's get into Echo. Oh, no.
Man, all you had to do was ask.
I don't... Oh, God. I don't know... I feel like okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Okay, so there's only 5 anyway, so... There isn't supposed to be 6. There's at least something in all of them except the first one, which I feel like was Carl, and Carl is done, right?
Drop it.
I don't remember which one file say slot 1 was, so might have to be working back on that one, but guess we'll go with file 2, so let's see what it is. Oh, what in the fuck? What? Could you suffer a little quieter, please? It looks like they have updated the art. I like Leo's look more now. I like it. They've even got... They've got the anchor on there, so you can see that more prominently. His expression looks a little more not serial killery, but there's still a hint of "I will murder you," which is nice. I don't like Jenna. I don't like it. I liked how she looked before. Now, her eyes are just too bright and too small. That maybe it's also because we got 2 people with the arms folded right next to each other in the exact same way. But I'm not feeling it. And then, of course, TJ is in his underwear for some reason. Again, I forgot to fucking look and see... I forgot to look and see what happened in the previous episode, so I don't even know what number this is or what the fuck I'm following suit about. But let's see. Unless this didn't get all that mess for a route that didn't even get an update. Okay, that's fine. So whichever route that was, we're not getting an update there. This looks to be the most recent one for this one. So let's see which one this is. Thank you for being here for me. That means a lot. Awesome. We're in the hotel again. TJ's looking normal. And we've got an update. So I guess it's going to be whichever the fuck route this is. I think it's...
Go in your kennel.
Just try to ignore them. If you don't acknowledge them, they won't yell at you too. It's late afternoon by the time Julian arrives to pick us up from the motel. Things are predictably awkward at first as the stag drives us out of town in silence. I'm just happy that I've managed to sit between him and TJ again, leaving the lynx to stare out of his window as the desert landscape passes by. Oh, you fucking wanker. Get away from me and close the curtains for fuck's sake. I watch Julian as his thumbs tap idly at the steering wheel before he suddenly sits up straight. Oh, fuck, I don't remember the guy. What the fuck was his voice? This is why I'm supposed to look back on this shit. Thank you, indeed. Uh-oh, your skills are missing. They're not missing, buddy, they just don't exist. Oh, it was this? Oh, this is terrible. This is when we framed fucking Carl. Oh, it's terrible. But I see Julian.
Well, here we are.
So he's essentially just TJ's voice, but higher. So it's June. Okay. I'm really creative with the voices, aren't I? It's the same thing, but pitched up, higher or lower. The self-loathing hasn't gone away. So feel free to... I'm still on brand! Woo! Oh, Chase, you left your camera in the truck bed yesterday. I forgot to tell you. He glances over at me and I nod. Oh, yeah, probably should have remembered that. Do you want me to pull over so you can grab it out? I don't know how you feel about it sliding around back there while we're on the highway. I shrug. Should be fine. It's been through worse considering it's a crap rental from the university. Julian starts tapping away at the steering wheel again. So, your friend seems okay. He'll need to rest for a few months to recover, but he didn't seem too worried about that. Oh, Carl fucked up his ankle, didn't he? I was like, what the fuck happened? He's fine, but he'll be in recovery for months. Jesus, I snort. Of course not. Yeah, anyway, what was it you guys wanted to do? Julian leans forward a bit to glance at TJ. I just wish he'd keep his fucking eyes on the road. So possessive. I nudge the lynx, and he snaps his gaze from the window to look at us. Huh? I was asking what you wanted to do tonight, TJ. Oh, I'm not really sure. He could go see a movie, maybe. And Spoof's getting separation anxiety. Anything out that you wanted to see? Not really. Hey, Sam.
Sammy!
Put Sammy on camera. Put him on camera right now.
Hi, Sam. Hi,
Pick him up.
I'm scared to pick him up.
He's fine. I'll pick him up.
The family is visiting.
Little boy.
Yay.
Here he comes.
Hey, Sam. Look at Sammy. He's so small.
He's so small.
He's so small.
Give him the licks.
Don't fucking...
Go on, Sammy.
don't.
Give him that last one, but we did good.
And there's Lil.
We cannot pick up Lil.
Yeah, definitely not picking up Lil.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, snap.
Here we go.
There's a Lil. And Lee. Lil and Lee. Lily and Lil. Lily and Lil.
How you doing?
Lee and Lily. Lil. Fuck! You know, I used to do this thing where I'd get a random ticket to a movie I've never heard of before. I'd have no expectations, so usually I'd be pleasantly surprised. Oh, that sounds kind of fun. As long as it's not R-rated. Yeah, so the way I do... Why don't we just go to the Familyplex? I cut Julian off, looking over at TJ. The Familyplex? Yeah, you remember that place, right? We'd go there as kids for birthdays and stuff. The old run-down arcade thing at the mall? Yeah. TJ seems to perk up a bit. I haven't been there in like 10 years. That could be a lot of fun. If it's still open. I haven't been to that corner of the mall in a long time. It is. Well, alright then. So should we go there? There's a moment of silence before TJ shifts next to me. Yeah, let's do that. The Familyplex is basically as I remember it. Jesus Christ, this fucking building. Like TJ had said, a good decade had passed since we'd been here, maybe more. But the ugly stained carpet and sickly colored walls still cover the place, a real relic of the 80s and 90s. Still, I'm happy to see TJ smile as we walk in, his adorably wide eyes scanning the place, as I'm sure he's hit with that same sense of nostalgia. Oh my gosh, everything is exactly the same. The look on Julian's face is slightly less enthusiastic. It even smells the same. I kind of like it, actually. It reminds me of a movie theater. Same. It's really just the popcorn and recycled air from the AC. I realized then what a fucking stick in the mud Julian is, but I ignore him, instead following TJ as we make our way to the machines. Luckily, the place is mostly empty. There's a group of teenagers being loud and annoying over the air hockey tables, but otherwise, we have the place to ourselves. For a moment, we just stand there, then Julian reaches into his pocket. You guys want to chip in some money, and I can go get us a few rolls of quarters? I take out a 5, and so does Julian, while TJ hands over a 10. Wow, Teach, that's a lot.
No.
Yeah, I only have 10s. Besides, we'll go through them fast. We always do. Julian walks off to the front counter while TJ and I wait awkwardly next to the skee-ball ramp. I feel like things wouldn't be so tense if Julian wasn't here, and I feel myself getting progressively annoyed by his presence. I'm about to ask TJ how he's feeling when Julian comes back with 2 rolls of quarters. So we have 2 rolls. You want me to count your shares, or... I shake my head. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we're just here to hang out anyway. TJ takes one of the rolls and tears off the one end. You guys want a skee-ball? Sure, I've always been pretty good with this game. I take the open roll of quarter. First typo back! Yes, it took 2 games, but we finally found one. Thank God. From TJ, and take one out of my own, inserting it into the neighboring skee-ball machine. There are only 2, and I kind of hope that Julian might just wander away, but he stays right there behind TJ, watching. I sigh and insert my coin, watching as the little balls roll out into the little compartment. Meanwhile, TJ is having a terrible time, each of his balls rolling into the scoreless gutter. I roll my first ball and watch it as it misses the 40 and rolls into the 10 gutter. Aw, don't worry about it, Tej. Want me to show you how? Julian moves next to me, and I grit my teeth in annoyance, moving over a bit. The stag flicks the ball expertly down the ramp, and it lands squarely in the 40. Wow, on your first try, too. Honestly, I'm out of practice, but I usually go for the hundreds in the corner. How do you do it? Well, Julian grabs a hold of TJ's wrist, and I feel my fur starting to stand up on my neck and shoulders. It's all in the wrist. It's all in the wrist. Oh, it was in the hips. Happy Gilmore. That company name has fucked me up so much when remembering that movie. I swear to God. He moves TJ's arm forward before bending the lynx's wrist. Oh, I see. TJ tries again, and this time he gets the 10, but on his second try he lands it in the 50. Nice! Julian holds up his paw, and TJ slaps it loudly. The stag laughs and looks over at me. You alright, Chase? You still got 4 balls. Without a word, I turn back to my machine and huck the ball down the ramp, each one landing in the gutter. Meanwhile, I listen to Julian and TJ celebrate another 50. For the rest of the night, I followed TJ and Julian around, the stag showing the cat how to best play the games. All the while, I stand next to them, dumping my quarters into games I don't even finish. I just want us to run out so we can leave. The drive back is quiet and tense. TJ and Julian asked me multiple times at the Familyplex if I was alright, until I finally told them I just had a headache. That stopped their questioning for the most part, and luckily that prompted TJ to propose we just go back to the motel. I tense up again when he offers Julian to spend the night there, but luckily the stag declines, wanting to go back home to his own bed. As we drive, I notice TJ nodding off, his head bumping the glass of his window. You can lean against me, Tej. TJ's ears flick, flushing a bit. Oh, really? I mean, I don't want to... As an answer, I reach over to clasp the side of TJ's face before I force the lynx's head to lean sideways against my shoulder. TJ stiffens up. I bet. But then he relaxes, and 5 minutes later I can tell that he's fallen into a light sleep. Julian glances over at us occasionally, but doesn't say anything. I lean my cheek against the top of TJ's head. I realize how good it feels to sort of envelop him like this. It feels like I'm protecting him. Fucking possessive ass motherfucker. All those bad, tense feelings from the arcade start to melt away. I can't tell. Okay. Pretty soon I start to drift off as well, the smooth drone of the highway lulling me to sleep. I open my eyes and see the back of a rusty white sedan pulled off to the side of the road. Julian's pulling off as well behind the car. The sun's already set, the sky's faded blue and purple. That's when I realize there's a large coyote standing next to the car, leaned over and looking at the front left wheel. She stands up when our headlights hit her, and she shields her eyes against the light. Janice. Julian shuts his headlights off. Looks like she's got a flat. TJ wakes up and I'm a bit disappointed to feel him shift off my shoulder. What's going on? Julian's already hopping out of the car, walking up to the now grinning Janice as she sets her paws on her hips. Fuck. I don't want to get Janice's voice wrong. So let's see what it was. I feel like a large portion of these first few episodes is just literally going to be like me rediscovering how bad I am at voice acting. Trust me, I did not forget. Okay, so it's a very, very pleasant voice to hear, I'm sure. Well, now, what are you doing out here, Julie? I could hear her loud, obnoxious voice. Oh, hey, at least I got that part right. He's his movie. He's his movie boy.
All the other dogs were on camera.
He wants to get his screen time. Paying him fucking SAG scale. I can hear her loud, obnoxious voice even with the doors closed. Janice has a flat. I want to go back to sleep until Julian's helped her. TJ shakes his head, shifting himself to open the door, and ooh, shit. He hops out the door. I sigh as he leaves, pushing myself across the seat and jump out as well. Jason Tobias, too! Such a dumb voice. She turns her psychotic grin on us. Oh, good. She's probably high as fuck right now. Yeah, we were having a night out. Anyway, do you need any help? Well, you know, Julian, I actually do. I don't have my own Jag. Been missing that for the past 15 years. She seems to have psychotic. Well, I've got one. Do you have a spare? Yep, in the back. Hope it's not too flat, too. Haven't had that thing out in a while. Well, go ahead and pop the trunk, and we'll see what we've got. I'll go get my jack. Julian jogs back to the truck, while TJ and I stand behind Janice's car. Sadly, that's when the old coyote turns her attention on us. Well, how are you two doing this evening? I'm doing well, thanks. I want to thank you two again for doing all that yard work during your vacation. Seems I'm always out here just needing help. Oh, it was no trouble at all, ma'am. I'm happy to let TJ do the talking, just wanting to get this all over with as soon as possible so that we can head back to the motel. I squint as Julian's headlights come back on and he hops out of his truck. Just want to give us a little more light. Janice pops the trunk and lifts it up, revealing a cluttered mess inside. She brushes it all aside and lifts up the flap, revealing an old, rusty spare tire. She nudges at it, testing the air pressure before lifting it out. Well, it's a little deflated, but it should be enough to get me to Duke's house. I know he's got a few tires I can probably use. If not, I'll just go get him to drive out and buy me one. Julian kneels. Oh, shit, it's a spoofy. There's a spoofy under my chair. Julian kneels down next to Janice's car, setting up the jack. We stand there in silence for a bit, watching the stag as he works. Speaking of your vacation, it wasn't really a vacation for you, was it, Chase? My heart sinks a bit as the dumb Yodi turns her attention directly on me. Huh? I grunt politely in question, keeping my gaze on Julian to show Janice that I'm definitely not interested in what she has to say. Well, that grumpy lizard Flynn was telling me about it in the diner a few days back. Something about you wanting to document all the spooky stuff in town. I try to think of a way to keep things uninteresting so she doesn't ask any more questions. Sort of. Mainly I just wanted to find some information on a murder that happened like 100 years ago. Couldn't find much out. Oh, Flynn made it sound more like one of those ghost documentaries that I like to watch sometimes. I had a few stories for you. I keep my eyes firmly on Julian's paws as he starts to crank the jack. And then TJ nudges me. Hey, are there any rules against it being a ghost documentary? I sigh, though I try to keep it quiet for TJ's sake. Well, it's more of a news piece, so a ghost story wouldn't really work, I don't think. Actually, I've seen segments on the news about ghosts. I don't know if they're serious, but when someone catches something on camera, sometimes they'll play it. I shrug. Well, even if that is the case, it probably won't get me a very good grade. It's better than no grade at all. TJ smiles encouragingly at me, and I can't help but smile back. He always has a way of cheering me up, no matter how bad of a mood I'm in. That's the spirit. Besides, could just be about the history of it rather than making it seem real, even if it is real. I sigh again, though. Where's my mouse? Okay. Though this time I don't try to cover it up. Janice either doesn't notice or doesn't care. So would you like to hear 'em? Yeah, let me grab my notepad real quick. I walk over to Julian's truck, listening to Janice as she babbles excitedly to TJ about how scary it is. I try to unzip the bag, but the ledge of the truck bed is too tall, so I have to grab the whole fucking thing and trudge it back over to the car. I unzip the side pocket and pull out my notepad and pen, then I stand up straight and look Janice expectantly. Coyote sits on the ledge of the trunk, making the car shift. Julian pauses, eyes wide, as I'm sure he thought the sedan was about to topple off the jack. Well, let's see. I can start with what my grandpa told me. Yeah, that works. Actually, that's great, because this happened right here in these very woods. Janice gestures off the side of the road dead to trees. So my grandpa was taking a walk in there with my grandma in, I want to say sometime in the 40s, right after they were married. They were walking along in one of the little trails in there. And as they started hearing this strange sound in the trees, like something scuttling up and down the branches. They kept looking, but couldn't see anything. TJ hugs himself and rubs his arms and his paws. Wow, that's creepy. Oh, that ain't the half of it, Tobias. Now, the thing is, as they kept walking, those sounds followed them, and then... Janice lowers her voice, and despite my annoyance, I have to draw in a little bit closer to hear her next words. They started to hear talk. Hear what talk? TJ is fully drawn in by Janice's theatrics, and I have to struggle not to roll my eyes. Well, whatever it was, it started talking down to them. Janice pauses and glances. Another typo, yay. Glances at me, and I make sure not to give her anything, staring glassy-eyed at my notepad. What did it say? Well, just strange things like, you're here, and I see you. Though my grandpa said he wasn't even sure if it was talking to them, really. He said that when it started to just... He said that when it just started to laugh, that's when he and Grandma started running. Even then, it followed them. Even then, it followed them. He said it sounded like it was rising in the air and landing from tree to tree, following them until they got out. At this point, TJ is just frowning, and I have to force myself to jot down these stupid notes. What was it? Janice shrugs. Dunno. Grandpa only told me the story once when he wouldn't go on a family walk in the forest. I asked him why, and he told me. Asked Grandma too, but she just pretended she couldn't hear me. Thing is, my grandpa's not a liar, that I can promise you. I scribble on the notepad, pretending to write all this down. Oh, he said that it sounded mechanical, so kind of like it was coming through a machine or a computer. Like that really happened, like the computers that were around in the 40s. You know, the ones that were like, it's the size of a fucking room. Like, you want to be grateful for your fucking smartphone? Look at what computers used to be back in the day. Not so far back that they were literal people computing, but like mechanical computers. They were like 10 by 14 foot. Like, holy shit. The fact that we have phones this fucking small that are more powerful than that. Those computers back in the day were about this, had the power capacity of like a fucking... like a floppy drive or some shit, and most y'all don't even know what the fuck that is. That's weird, because they didn't really have those back then. See, she might be fucked up on heroin, meth, cocaine, whatever, but at least she knows what the fuck time it is. A moment of silence goes by as I wait for Janice to go on. When she doesn't, I look up. So, that's it? Oh yeah, did you think they'd actually see something? I shrug. Anything else? Janice thinks. Well, there's this bear up the road named Brian. Oh! Brian! No, nobody, no. Well, Well, there's this bear up the road named Brian. One time he told me a story about seeing some aliens around here, UFOs and such. This time I can't stop my eyes from rolling, but again, Janice either doesn't see or ignores it. Said back when he was a teenager, he saw a flying saucer as he was passing by the lake. I don't even bother to move my pen, but Janice keeps going. You know, I was listening to this podcast. Ye olde fucking backwoods podcast. You know what that was? That was your fucking family that wouldn't just shut the fuck up. That was your podcast. The hell is it? Okay, I was listening to this podcast on podcast1.com, Steve Austin show, you know, Talk is Jericho. You know, those radio shows on the internet. There you go. There you fucking go. That's what you should have called it first, you fucking... Oh yeah, I love listening to those when I work out. You listen to a podcast when you work out? How the fuck? I don't know. I don't even understand people who like working out, so how the fuck am I supposed to... Well, there's this paranormal one that I listen to that really goes in depth on this kind of stuff. And you know, we've all heard the story about gold in a quartz deposit. Yep. Well... Janice lowers her voice, leaning in like she's discovered the best-kept secret in the entire world. In the podcast, they were going on about how places with lots of quartz end up being more haunted. You know why? I don't say anything. Do TJ chimes in. Why? Well, the quartz captures stuff from the past, like really emotional, angry stuff, and sometimes, when things line up just right, they play it back. Only when they do, it's all twisted up and mixed with awful stuff, makes what you see really awful and horrible looking. But you know... Yes, pauses again. What? I think there's more to it than that. I think there's something with a conscious mind behind all here, Neko. I finally have to break in. Has anything happened to you, specifically? You know, it's better if I have something straight from the source rather than secondhand. Janice finally goes quiet, then eyes flicking down to look at the ground. Julian, meanwhile, has pulled off the tire and is fitting the spare in place. Well, maybe. I grit my teeth. What do you mean? Janice lets out a soft, mirthless chuckle. Let's just say I've seen things I've promised not to tell anyone about, Chase. I can't tell if she's joking or not, so I just go along with it. Oh, you order hitting on someone. Maybe, Chase. TJ stands there, a mortified expression on his face. I look down at my camera bag. Well, I think it might be a good time to get some footage of the trees in there while there's still a little light. If I'm going to do the whole ghost story thing, then I better give a horror movie vibe. Oh, well, that sounds wonderfully spooky. I start toward the tree line, then look back at TJ. You want to come with? Oh. TJ looks back at Janice and Julian, the latter of which is screwing in the tire. Go on, TJ, give him some company in there, especially after I've told all y'all that spooky story. Ha ha ha. Janice cackles, causing the car to shake again. Besides, I don't mind keeping Julian company in the meantime. Julian grunts as he keeps his focus on the tire. Well, okay. With that, TJ and I cross the ditch into the forest, following the little trail that weaves through the trees. As the darkness of the forest engulfs us, I look back at TJ and see him timidly moving along, looking at the trees nervously. I grin. Oh, motherfucker. Are you scared? TJ looks over at me with a start. Oh, he lets out a soft laugh. Yeah. Maybe a little bit. I pause, waiting for the lynx to catch up to me, then I hold out my paw to him. He stares at it for a moment, as if not comprehending what it is. I stubbornly keep it outstretched. No one's gonna see. TJ seems to think for a moment, and I see the lynx wipe his paw on his pants before reaching out to take mine. I pulled TJ along through the forest, glancing up occasionally to see if I can find a patch of sky sufficient enough to get the shot I want. Don't worry, man. You know I saw something in here, too. What? TJ's busy looking off into the trees, his ears perked, listening. Yep, when I was a kid, I thought I saw a fox hanging from the trees. Oh my gosh, please don't tell me this right now! I frown. Listen, what I realized is that sometimes people hallucinate things. I'd rather just not talk about it right now. All I'm saying is that the stories that Janice told us aren't real. And even if they are, most people hallucinated. That's it. Well, sure, but that doesn't mean I won't still freak out if I do see something. I squeeze the lynx's paw in mine, shaking it around a little. No, you've got me if that happens. TJ squeezes back. There's a slight resistance in his grasp, though, as if he's trying to pull back from me while at the same time holding on to me. Chase, have you been feeling alright? I feel fine. I stop in the path, looking up at the little patch of dusty sky above me, almost spherical and perfect for the shot that I'm gonna get. Because you seem a little bit off, especially when you were at the family plex. And I know we've all been a little off since what happened. I mean, I was feeling really, really weird the past few days. I set the bag on the path, unzipping the main compartment and pulling out the camera. Maybe you're feeling the same way I was? Oh, okay, I shrugged, turning the camera on. I feel fine, Tej. TJ suddenly places a paw on my arm that gives me a pause. Chase, are you sure? He's looking at me directly in the eye, his paw pads warming the fur and skin under them, chasing away the chill of the evening. It's his wide blue eyes that catch my attention, though. They're sincere, kind, and full of love. It's then that I realize what TJ's trying to tell me. After all this this time we spent together over the week, getting to know each other better, talking about our future plans, until now that I realize. I stand up straight, facing the lynx more directly, a soft smile on my lips. TJ looks up at me, eyes looking over my face as if searching for something. I lean in and kiss him. My God! It lasts a moment. Our lips meet, mine on his for the first time. It's a moment of pure bliss. I close my eyes to show the lynx just how passionate I am about it. I feel his lips freeze up against mine, then suddenly they're gone. I open my eyes in time to see TJ stumbling backwards. One paw flies up to his mouth as the other stretches out behind himself as if he's worried he's going to run into the trees. I guess I surprised him. I smile and follow the cat, reaching out my paws. You alright? As I reach him, he pushes my paws away. I frown. What? What was that? TJ's whisper. Oh, sorry. What was that? TJ's whispering put a loud sort of whisper, almost deafening in the quiet forest. What do you mean I kissed you, I kissed you, TJ. I love you. The look of pure shock and horror on TJ's face stuns me. What? What are you talking about? TJ, you're asking really dumb questions right now. You heard me. I feel myself getting a little irritated. I just bared my soul to him, and now he's acting like I just told him a terrible secret. But you mean like a friend? No, I mean like a boyfriend, a lover. I reach out again, but this time TJ twists away from me and then starts to back the way we came from. I follow him. Oh, how come? I can see his rapid breathing, his wide eyes like a cornered animal. I feel myself getting angrier. What do you mean, how come? Do I need to explain it to you? TJ keeps backing up and I see what looks like fear in his eyes. I don't understand it at all. He starts to turn around, but I grab his arm. Hey, you flirt with me all fucking week and you're asking why? What the fuck are you talking about? Chase, let me go. Tries to pull away weakly, but I yank forward so hard his teeth clack together in front of my face. Okay, this is all kinds of not okay. I don't like this. He gasps. You make eyes at me across the table at the diner while we're doing yard work at Janice's house, and you don't get why. Why the hell am I getting so angry? Let me go! TJ's still whispering. God damn it, but it's getting louder. You were just leading me on. I I feel my voice break as it rises in volume as well. What is happening? Why am I doing this? Is this a dream? Were you leading me the fuck on, TJ? I don't want to scream that right now. I see tears brimming in TJ's eyes as he looks away from me like a kid who just got caught doing something wrong. Do I need to tell you again? TJ, I fucking love you! And this is how you treat someone you love. That's great. I've known it since I picked you up from college. Listen to me. I pulled him closer, but as I do, he lashes out. I see a flash of light, and the next thing I know, TJ's escaped my grasp. My paw is still stuck out in the air as I watch the lynx disappear through the trees. Soon the sounds of his footsteps fade as well, and I'm left alone in the deathly quiet forest. I stare for a long time, listening to the nothingness, maybe waiting for TJ to come back, or for Julian to come up the path to beat me up. But nothing happens. I don't know how long I stand there, but when I look up, I see that it's even darker. I numbly lift the camera with my other hand, still holding onto it like I was when I kissed TJ. Slowly I walk over to the bag, kneel down, putting the camera away. That's when I feel the nape of my neck prickle. TJ? I look back hopefully, but the path is empty. The forest, though. The trees and branches leave that outline the path just before it curves out of sight. Just 15 feet ahead of me. Oh god, what's about to happen? Even my laptop is starting to fucking freak out. There's a shape in the trees. A shape of legs, arms, a torso, and maybe a head. The shadow figure seems to blend into the leaves, almost melting into the twilight. I blink hard, but then when I open my eyes, the figure's still there, unmoving, unchanged. That's when I realize that even though I'm holding my breath, I can still hear breathing.
Fucking exercise today, coming up and down these damn stairs. What did you just say?
I didn't catch all of it, but something about getting all the exercise for the day just by going up and down the damn stairs. It comes from the direction of the shape, even though it doesn't move at all. It looks like a painting. Slowly I stand up. It doesn't move. I start to walk forward, and that's finally when it changes. It starts to melt back into the trees, but the branches and leaves don't move. It moves through them. Then, as I reach the bend in the path, it fades into nothing. But the breathing continues. I look around, finally, and see that it's gotten dark to the point that I can hardly make anything out. Everything that you see is twisted from what it once was. But what is it? It was something once, just like I was. Nothing here is obligated to make sense to you. But what does it want? What does anything here want? The only thing you know for sure is that it's evil. And just like that, I'm running up the rest of the path, feeling as the branches are clawing at me, trying to pull me back into the forest. And still, the breathing continues just over my shoulder, growing ragged with my own, following me, chasing me. I feel it closing in on me, gasping, taking on a robotic tone as if someone's taking their last breaths through a phone. And I'm the one on the other end listening to it. The crackling breath hisses out and then rises into a screech of static and noise, and I break through the trees, landing in the ditch and jamming 2 fingers in the process as I throw my paws out to catch myself. I don't care, though. I scramble out of the ditch, gasping for breath. I look up, hoping to see TJ, Julie, and even Janice, but no one's there. Both cars are gone. I'm left alone on the road, in the silence and darkness. Ugh. It's not a town I'd want to walk home alone in. Jesus Christ. I walk back to the motel alone. I hope to see Julian's truck in the parking lot when I get there, but it isn't. Instead, there's the typical 2 or 3 cars along with my own. I still have hope that as I make my way to the door, maybe TJ will be in the bathroom taking a shower. Maybe he'll already be asleep. Maybe he'll be awake and we just forget about what happened. Chat until it's late. Order a pizza like we did at Carl's house. But as I press the key card to the lock, and it flashes green, I open the door. I don't see TJ at all. It's dark and empty. That's finally when I realize that TJ's left me as well. My mind is blank as I walk through the motel room, only then realizing that I left the camera in the forest. I don't care, though. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. I curl up on the bed and cry for a long time. I don't care how loud I am. I'm sure if anyone here hears it, they've heard worse. The employee at the front desk probably hears it every week because that's just the way this town is. I fall asleep. When I wake up, I can't move. I feel like this is a different update, but we'll just play it out for a little bit, see what happens. I don't care, though. It doesn't matter anymore. Even though I know better, I open my eyes. Weirdly enough, the motel is as I left it, disheveled with the lights on. Nothing horrible at all, until I hear footsteps at the base of my bed. I brace myself for it, but I keep my eyes open. The spooky music, man. It's my least favorite person in all these games, the spooky music man. I don't know why. I guess it feels like I'm punishing myself for what I did to TJ. I lay there on my side, curled up and waiting as the footsteps make their way around the bed. I don't know what I expect my mind to conjure up. Maybe the demon in the forest, the evil electric creature that breathed into my ear as I ran from it, jumping from tree to tree behind me. But what I didn't expect to see was a small, old Kit Fox in a button-up shirt and tie. I watch as he sets a card down on the little table next to my bed. I get a moment to see a silver ring on his finger and worn black claws. Then he picks up a bottle from the table that isn't there and takes a swig from it. Then he moves over to the closet rod, clothes that I don't recognize hanging from it. He's got a cord of some kind in his paw. Oh, God, no. 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 I don't. No. He starts to tie it up on the... No. God. The first episode back, and this is what happens? Really? Fucking... You wonder why I fucking stopped doing this shit. You can read it for you. Starts to tie it up on the rod, while the other end gets tied around his neck. You know what the fuck's about to happen. God damn it. God fucking damn it. I know what he's doing. And now I try to close my eyes, but something seems to hold them open. This is too real. The fox... That's what I'm fucking thinking. The fox braces himself against the wall, and I see his face clearly. Kind, weary, hopeless. Then he sits. He doesn't completely sit because the cord pulls taut and he's left with his legs at a loose slant on the ground. I see his eyes bulge, turning red, and at the same time, those eyes meet mine. I think he sees me. I gasp and sit up in the bed, but he doesn't disappear. He lingers. It's only when he starts to go into convulsions that he begins to fade away. I hug my knees, my back pressed against the headboard of the bed as the fox continues to stare at me and then completely disappears. It was real. It was real. Was. Something's different. Something's wrong in the air. A sound from the bathroom makes me look over at the closed door. Something's in there. Automatically, I get up. It's like I'm not in control of my body anymore. It's like I'm still in a dream, even though I know I'm not. I get to the door and stand there a little while, listening to the breathing inside, and then I open it. I stand there for a while, staring in. The light from the room pours into the bathroom. It didn't enough to show me anything out of the ordinary. I feel it, though. There's an energy in here pulling me in. Slowly, I step inside, looking around, my heart hammering in my chest. I'm not scared. Not anymore. It's a sort of anticipation instead of fear, like I've been waiting for this ever since I got to Echo. I don't know if I believe in ghosts now, but I know what's happening in here is real. I wait, feeling the cold tiles of the bathroom against the pads on my feet. I'm not sure how long I stand there in complete silence. Could be anywhere from 1 minute to 10, but that's finally when I get an answer. Close the door, close the door. I don't hear anything, but I feel it. And I feel it coming from my left. I look to my right, I'm a fucking idiot. I look, but I don't see anything. This isn't like those other times when I'd hear him inside my head. No, the voice inside me is hiding right now, like even he's afraid of this. Still, I sense it. And even though I start to feel that fear again, I reach out for the door. Close it, close it, close the door. Close it, close it, close the door. For a brief moment, I have a sudden realization of where I am, what I'm doing, and what's happening, but that's not enough to stop me. There's a haze over my mind, over everything, like I'm in a deep, dark dream that I can't come up from. I think I've lost my mind, or I'm dead. Either way, it doesn't matter anymore. I push the door closed, but not fully. Then just to crack a light in, so that through the mirror I can see the outline of the fur of what's on the left side of my head. But as I'm looking at that, I start to get the feeling that it's not me in the mirror. I look shorter, smaller. Something's wrong with my face. I can almost see what looks like the corner of a mouth stretched all the way across the jaw. I don't like elongated mouths. Just like I saw in the diner bathroom 5 days ago. I didn't like that picture. I hope I don't see that shit again. I don't know. It feels so long. But it's then that I realize the presence I feel is coming from this thing in the mirror. We stare at each other for a long time, the fear rising and rising until it's almost overwhelming. But my feet won't move. My mind won't reason with what's happening. I'm in a nightmare. This is real. The mirror whispers at me. I see the grotesque mouth move with the raspy, whispering words. Slowly, I move a little closer to the mirror, ducking my head down a bit, reaching up to touch my cheek, where I see the widened gash of a mouth. The reflection does the same, but when I touch my face, I only feel smooth fur, even as the fingers in the mirror brush against the opening. What's happening? I ask myself. The reflection responds. What's been happening for eons was supposed to happen to everyone else in this town, but you stopped it. What? Coming back here with your secret almost started it, but now that everyone's about to find out. What are you talking about? This town might actually survive if they find out. Find out what? I bring both paws to press up against the sides of my face, as if to cover the gaping mouth. You know what? I squint at the reflection, trying to figure out why it looks so familiar. Sydney? There's a raspy rustling sound, and I see the thing in the mirror shake, its head twitching from side to side, far too fast to be anything of this world. Take a step back. Dread rises in my chest. No, this was supposed to be over. I'm not supposed to see things anymore. You always knew they were wrong. Always knew that what you saw was real. Nothing normal about this. But it's not me seeing things again that's got me feeling the way I do, no. What secret are you talking about? Again, that raspy sound of rustling leaves, sounding old and forgotten. That's what it feels like I'm talking to. Something old, monolithic, and ancient. You don't need me to tell you. I grasp my shirt, twisting the fabric in my paws, feeling like I might panic, that I might go insane. Already insane. But how is anyone gonna find out? No one knows. You know that's not true. Who was responsible for the cruel joke? I swallow hard. Someone knows. No, that was... It was something else. They didn't know. It was a stupid prank on me to make me look bad, to ruin our vacation. Vacation? Is that what I'm on right now? That thought. is foolish, and you know it. It was definitely foolish. And you know who it was. And after what you did to him. I see myself pinning the lizard in the parking lot, holding back from pounding his face into nothing. He's gonna tell everyone. No. I hear myself whine, feeling like a child, like a small creature in the mirror. Yes, unless. I wait, feeling tears well up in my eyes, knowing that my life is about to change forever. The silence drags on and on until I finally break it. What? I can help you keep the secret. Wait a while longer, but the reflection stays quiet. I get the sense that this time is going faster than I perceive. I get the sense that time is going faster than I perceive it. My legs aching from standing here rigidly on the cold tile floor. Help me? I can tell you what you can do to keep things the way they are. I feel a small ray of hope pierce through the towering cloud of impending doom in my chest. How? There's a dark pause for a moment that marks an in-between, between what was and what's about to become. I know things can't truly stay the way they were. They are. They never do. Another split in my life, just like what happened years ago. Finally, the thing speaks, and I hear exactly what I expect. Do the same to the lizard. I swallow, feeling myself rejecting the idea, unless you want them all to know your secret. But how do I know it was him? He sounded like he had no idea what we were doing. He is deceptive, a liar. His entire family has always been. But I can't, if I don't know for sure, show him the note. You'll see his reaction. The truth. My paw drifts to my pocket, feeling the gentle outline of the folded paper. Who are you? The rustling leaves again, and I realize that while this might be Sydney, it's something more than Sydney. It doesn't answer me. We stand there for a long time again, minutes, hours, I don't know. Why would you help me?
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry.
Immersion breaking. This time the answer is immediate. This town needs secrets. Why? Again, no answer, and I stand there for what feels like hours as I continue to stare at the small, disfigured creature. I get the feeling that it's starting to move independent from me. That thought scares me, and I lift my paws. I'm relieved to see the reflection do the same, but as soon as I touch my face, I feel the corner of my mouth stretched up to my ears. In a sudden burst of panic, I lunge for the light switch to flip it on. I'm stunned as I'm bathed by blinding yellow light, and I have to shut my eyes for a moment before opening them. I see myself in the mirror as I've always been, staring back blearily. My eyes are bloodshot, and my figure seems to sag with exhaustion. I stand there for a while, feeling my mind cloud up even more as I go over what just happened. Then a violent shiver comes over my body like I'm suffering a high fever. I feel sick.
Hey, movie. Do you feel sick?
I do. My skin is sensitive and my joints are sore, and after a moment, I move back to the motel room. I could see that it's light outside through the curtains. How long was I in there? It must have been hours. I don't care, though. Still shivering, I head for the closest bed, sliding under the covers in my clothes and laying my head against the pillow. I realize then that this is Jenna's bed, and I can smell her perfume, along with a faint scent of fox musk on the pillow. Where was she again? I can't even remember, though, through the haze in my head. I think I fall asleep, but I'm not sure. A sudden knock at the door makes me jump. I curl up tighter under the covers, hoping that I just dreamt it. or that whoever is outside just goes away. Then the knock again, followed by Leo's voice. "Otter, you in there?" I cringed, squeezing my eyes shut, having completely forgotten about him. Why has he chosen to show up now? I lay still for a moment, then he yells again, which makes me jump out of the bed, cringing at the pain in my joints. Groggily, I stumble to the door, leaning against it for a moment as I feel lightheaded, trying to gather myself. Finally, I fix my face into a tired smile before opening the door. There he is, the updated Leo. Leo stands there, his ears perked, eyes wide as if he hadn't expected me to open the door. "Oh, hey Chase. You alright?" He reaches out to rest upon my shoulder, looking me over. "Yeah, I was up all night doing my project. I left it until the last minute." I'll give him a sheepish grin. Leo clicks? I imagine clicks his tongue at me. "Isn't that due tomorrow? And aren't you driving home all day today?" I shrug. "I'll be fine." "If you say so, Otter." He continues to stare at me with a look of concern. "What's up?" "Well, I guess I'm just sorry that I haven't been around more this week. I guess I was just being a bit unfair to you." I racked my brain for a reason why Leo's apologizing to me, or how exactly he'd been unfair to me. "I guess I've been a bit down because you weren't talking to me as much as I thought you would." "Oh. Have you been avoiding me all week? I hadn't even noticed." "Oh. Well, it's alright. I was wondering why you hadn't texted me. I'd been missing you." His ears flatten, and I see a look of shame cross his face. "You could have texted me too, you know." "I didn't want to bother you. I could tell you weren't all that happy." Leo lets out a big sigh, letting his shoulders droop. "I'm sorry, Chase. I guess I felt kind of shitty after what Flynn did. Then you just kind of went quiet." I scratched the back of my head. Yeah, I can't deny that he kind of ruined the vibe of the whole trip. But I really should have called you afterwards. I'm sorry, too. Yeah, my dad did call me to work every day, so I guess it would have been hard to work things. Out anyway. Sounds kind of familiar. He's still making you work weekends too? Usually, yeah. Leo looks past my shoulder into the motel room. "Anyway, when I texted Jenna, it sounded like something was wrong. I guess she's already back in Pueblo?" I shrug. Yeah, I think the tension got to her in the end, and she took off early. She was complaining about Flynn the entire time she was here. Leo lets out another big sigh. "Great. He's been acting strange too." "Oh yeah?" I silently hope that the wolf isn't going to ask to be let in. "Yeah, driving around, acting all shady. That's actually what made me want to visit you, see if everything was okay. Carl isn't even responding to me." "I'm good. Just tired and stressed out." "Is Teach here?" "He's actually hanging out with an old friend in Peyton right now. Once he comes back, we're going to start driving back." I was actually in the middle of a nap. "Oh, sorry. Want to get back to that then?" I smiled guiltily. "Yeah, that'll probably be for the best. Don't want to nod off on the road, you know." "Of course." He looks at me hesitantly. "Listen, I know that this was going to be our last time getting together before we all split off, but you want to try this again in the future, and maybe over the summer when you don't have school to worry about? I feel like we left a lot unsaid. Didn't have to be everyone, and maybe this time I'll just tell Flynn not to come around." I smiled back at Leo. "Yeah, that sounds good. I think that'd be great. That'd be a great time." Leo smiled back, looking genuinely relieved and happy. "That's so good to hear. And I'll be sure Dad knows that I want the week off." "Good luck with that. Now I'll let TJ and Jenna know." "Thanks, Chase." Leo stands there for a moment and then steps forward to give me a hug. Hug back tightly before letting him go. I stand in the doorway until Leo's van pulls out of the parking lot, heading in the direction of the highway, probably on his way to work. Once he's gone, I deflate, feeling as if that one conversation had been equal to hours of hard labor. Still, watching him go, I get a sense of sadness. Like that was the last time we'd see each other the way we are now. I stumble back to the bed, almost falling before I catch myself on the edge with both paws. I stare at the square patterns on the comforter, feeling a little sick. For a moment I hear whispers coming from the dark bathroom, but I don't even look up to see if I could see that figure in the mirror. I wish I'd closed the door, but I'm not going near that place again. So I just curl back up on the bed, facing away from the bathroom, closing my eyes. Okay. I don't know what the fuck this skipping rocks bit is, but this episode's already been way too fucking long, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. Thank you all for watching. What a hell of a fucking episode to come back on. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I imagine this is the TJ route, considering Carl had his ankle fucked up, and that was probably the end result of a lot of the note chasing and whatnot, and yeah, because he had the note in his pocket. So this was definitely the TJ route. I guess this is Saturday, or maybe Sunday, I don't actually fucking know. But either way, thank you all for watching. Let's do the end slate. So the end slate's up now. On the left, you can see patrons who have helped me on Patreon. Y'all are awesome. On the right, you can see some videos, one of which is the most recent, the other of which is one YouTube recommended for you. I forgot to count the fucking time, so see ya. Bye.